Hello, this is Brave Sir Robin coming to you from parts unknown. Here today to do a video I've been promising for a while where I talk about WWE's Hall of Fame. I know the Hall of Fame happened about a month ago now, but that's okay. I figured it still warrants enough discussion. Plus, I did a similar video last year with two of my friends, and it seemed to go over pretty positively, so I figured it's something I'd like to try again. I'm going to talk about the people who were inducted this year briefly, and then I'm going to go on and I'm going to give my ideal Hall of Fame for 2013. Hopefully it should be a good one then. I know this year was surprising. They inducted Edge like so soon after his retirement. Deserved it, not without a shadow of a doubt. I just expected them to go a different way this year. I mean, but the guy does deserve it. He is pretty young, but so they could have done it any time. I guess they just wanted to get a good headliner and do it while he was still in the public's mind. They did kind of rush it, but he deserved it, so I got no argument with it. They also inducted Mil Mascaras this year. I think he was one of the people I predicted last year, so I'm kind of happy with that. I'm not totally up on Mexicans, so don't tell me his accomplishments, but I still know who Mil Mascaras was. I mean, he's one of the biggest names in Lucha Libre, so and of international stars, so he definitely deserves it, even though he barely worked for Vince McMahon. I think he may have feuded with Billy Graham back in the day, and I remember his Royal Rumble appearance where he eliminated himself because he didn't want anybody else to do it, but all the same, it's not a bad induction by any means. The one that was really surprising, they inducted the Four Horsemen, inducting Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, Barry Windham, J.J. Dillon, and Ric Flair. Surprise, of course, being that Ric Flair is on the TNA roster, but he was still allowed to appear, which is pretty cool that they allowed that. Apparently, according to news stories, that Dixie Carter claims that she's going to be compensated for that somehow. We don't know how. I'd be curious to know what that would be. I'm surprised to see Vince McMahon extend an olive branch like that to her, considering all the time they're always boasting, oh, we're coming for Vince, but I don't know, I guess so. And also, with Ric Flair getting a dual induction, that kind of opens the door now. Now you can induct, like, if people can go in more than once, now that you can induct the Hart Foundation, because Bret Hart can go in more than once, or stuff like that. So I've got no problem with that. I thought that was pretty cool that they did. They could have even done it individually and filled the whole year out, but they did it all at once, so it's a bit different. For the celebrity inductions, there was Mike Tyson. Not the worst celebrity induction. I understand it. I mean, he helped usher in the Attitude Era, and with all the extra interest he drew by appearing then during the whole start of Austin's era, so I think he deserves it. I got no problem with him. I mean, I'd say he contributed more than Drew Carey did last year, so I've got no problem with Mike Tyson going in. And he is a wrestling fan, so I like that about it as well. So who went in this year was Ron Simmons. Totally deserving. I've been saying he deserved it for years. The first Black World Champion, multiple-time tag champion, so he deserves it as well. Of course, he went up there and did the whole damn bit, but it was cool to see. He deserves to be in there without a doubt. Also, the induction this year, inducted after his death, was Yokozuna. Again, a good induction. The guy beat Hulk Hogan for his second belt, beat Bret Hart for his first, had a good career, was a dominant monster for over a year, so I'd say he deserved it. He was taken from us way too soon, but he definitely deserved to get in there, and it is good to see them pay some respect, especially to the Samoan family like that. Yeah, I just tore the veil away. He wasn't actually Japanese, he was Samoan. Oh well. So now I'm going to talk about my ideal next year. You can see my list here. Spoilers. I'm going to talk about who I thought should go in the next year for 2013, leading into WrestleMania 29. The headliner, I think, should be none other than Mick Foley, who I thought was a shoo-in this year when he showed up back from TNA and made his return. I thought for sure he was the headliner, but they went with Edge instead. I'm really surprised that they did it that way, because I just thought that Mick Foley really deserved it and would have been a great choice for a headliner anytime he goes in. Maybe Vince is still punishing him for going to TNA and badmouthing him and all that stuff, so maybe that's why he didn't go in, or maybe Mick Foley turned it down, I don't know. Also, not a headliner, obviously. This is after he's deceased, the Macho Man. Come on now, why the hell isn't Macho Man been inducted, especially after his death? Like, he deserved it when he was still alive, and he deserves it even more now to have some tribute paid to him. I mean, it's seen since he died that Vince has put it behind him and is allowing tributes to the Macho Man to happen now, so going into the Hall of Fame would make a hell of a lot of sense in my opinion. I know I read some interview from Lanny Poffo saying that the only way he wanted to go in is if they inducted his dad and his brother at the same time. I've got no problem with that, though. If that's the only way you can induct a Macho Man, then I say go right ahead. It's really not like inducting Leaping Lanny Poffo is going to lower the bar any more than Coco Beware did, so why not? If it means the Macho Man goes in, go right ahead with it. Enough people want to see it. So that's my top two inductions who I think should be in next year. For teams or stables, I think that this year it should be the Freebirds. Michael Hayes already works there. Terry Gordy's not with us anymore. He hasn't been for a decade now or so. He can still induct. For me, the Freebirds are the one with Buddy Roberts too, so I think that would be the three. Maybe you can throw in Jimmy Garvin at the same time. I wouldn't mind if they did or didn't, but I'd rather they did. Maybe you can throw in Jimmy Garvin. It'd be kind of cool. I would like to see the Freebirds get inducted. I think they deserve it. They're probably the next team I would like to see. If not them, Demolition, but I think the Freebirds are the next one I would like to see go in there, and they deserve it as well. They've been everywhere. They were big names in wrestling. They appeared for pretty much everybody during the territory days and made a lot of money and made a big impact, so I think they would deserve it. For managers and promoters, I'm grouping this into one category. I think Paul Heyman should be inducted. I think because of his contributions to ECW, which contributed a lot to WWE, there wouldn't have been an Attitude Era without ECW. I mean, they could try to deny that all they want, but that's true. And also for his career as a manager, not as much, but definitely because of ECW and the short time it existed, it was still a success for the most part, that people still remember it and talk about it to this day, even though it's been dead for over a decade. I think that alone, maybe induct Paul Heyman and Todd Gordon together, maybe, but even if they just induct Paul Heyman, I think it would still not be a bad thing. For international superstars, I would like to see them induct. They usually induct somebody who doesn't normally work for Vince or has barely worked for him. Like this year was Mil Mascaras, the year before it was Abdullah the Butcher, and so on. I'm going to pick the Great Muta for that. I think that would be kind of cool to see. I know the guy has made some trips over for WCW and that back in the day, so there's some footage they can use. I just think he was a really memorable star, and I would like to see the Great Muta get inducted. I just think it would be pretty cool, and have KJ Muto or whatever his name, however you say it. I'm really bad on pronunciations of Japanese names, but I think if anybody's really deserving, I think Great Muta would be a great star to induct again. So the final entrant I think that would be ideal for next year for celebrity induction, Andy Kaufman is who I would like to see them induct. Maybe the question there though is who owns the footage to that stuff. Maybe Jerry Lawler does. I don't think WWE does, so maybe that's why they don't show any of it ever. Like if they ever do a Jerry Lawler DVD, I don't think you should do it without Andy Kaufman's involvement. I think it would be really cool to see him. He was one of the more memorable celebrities ever, and one of the first ones to do it. Who could forget the classic moment on the David Letterman show? One of the reasons why to this day David Letterman almost never has wrestlers on his show. They did that unplanned and scared the shit out of him, which was awesome. I mean, you ever watch that clip? I mean, you can't do that anymore. They've tried to replicate that through Twitter and stuff, and you just can't replicate that type of thing to get people talking anymore. And so that's why I think Andy Kaufman really would deserve to get in the WWE Hall of Fame as a celebrity induction. So there was my opinion on the Hall of Fame for this year. It's just a quick little video I decided to do to get it out of the way. I've been wanting to do this for a while. If you liked what you saw, make sure you go back and watch my previous videos. And don't forget you can like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter as well. And so until next time, this is Brave Sir Robin signing off. So I'll see you later.